now listening to the Good Bad Advice Podcast with Stephanie and Chase.
Hello. Whoa, you went deep, girl.
I decided to harmonize.
I don't think that's what that was,
No.
but I like the effort.
Tenor.
Welcome you guys to the Good Bad Advice Podcast. We're your hosts. I'm Chase.
I'm Stephanie,
And
and
we
I have
give-
gum in. I need to spit out my gum.
Okay, go ahead. You spit that out while I
Okay.
intro. We give unsolicited advice to people in the news each week. This is not meant to be a terribly political podcast or one that is super heavy. That's our old selves. Oh, your ago self. So we're not going to mention. We do have a little P Diddy story. Did we decide?
No,
to
we
put,
didn't end up putting it in there.
We got rid of him because honestly, he's filthy trash. I hope he
We
rots
just
in
don't
a
want to
jail
talk about
cell.
anything that is sad and
So we're not talking. If you
traumatizing.
came here for like, what's their take on Garth Brooks? We're not
I
touching
hate
that
him.
with a 10-foot
What
pole.
are your takes on P. Diddy?
No,
I
did you
hate
see
him.
her? Garth Brooks came out with a statement.
What?
Came out with a statement saying just 2 days before the lawsuit was filed, they got a letter, an extortion letter from the same person who filed, and they failed to pay, and then they made a suit against them. So
There's
who
a
knows?
lot of rumors about Garth Brooks.
Who
anyway.
knows? But I don't got the bandwidth.
Yeah.
You know what? We were talking about this before, and I don't want to start off on a negative note.
Mm-hmm.
But could everybody calm down? Like, I need the news to calm down.
Yeah.
I
we
would
talked about
love,
that last
like,
week.
Yeah, I need everything to calm down. Principally, what I need to calm down right now more than anything, AI.
So let's dive into that.
Yeah, okay. I showed you the video beforehand.
Yeah.
This is how unhinged my AI, my For You page on my social media is now because it's so AI. What started out as AI apocalyptic, like the world ending footage, not like cinema, like not like
No,
not like in a
AI
movie,
generated,
but
yes.
like AI generated, has now morphed into like countries as half human, half animal, but prisoners. And then it's like, why does the Egyptian camel who's like yoked
Yeah.
look like Egypt in
Yeah.
prison? Like
I know
as a
that
camel.
there is like a lot. I'm so pro AI, and I know that that's probably because I don't know.
The machines are banking on you to be pro. We love it. And then apocalyptic AI comes in and you're like, I don't know, like we got it a little out of hand.
I'm so kind to my AI.
I'm
I say
opposite.
please and thank you. I'm like, Alexa,
You think that's going to make a difference?
Yeah, I'm like,
You think
Alexis,
that they're
you
gonna be like,
gorgeous baby girl.
We're
could you
taking
please
over the world.
Tell me what a third of a cup is split in half.
But have you watched Mitchell's versus Machines?
No.
Okay, first off, that is
I have heard it's really good.
But it is so good. We just rewatched it last weekend with Whitney and Brittany. The Wit Brits. Actually, Brittany, who's my assistant, came over and she slept over. And then she's like, I'm going to text everybody and say I'm sleeping at my boss's house tonight. And then she started laughing. Brittany, I'm so sorry I'm putting you on blast, but she started laughing so hard that she started to pee her pants. Now I'm going to say, great. If you say that, I'm going to say Brittany came over and she peed herself at my house. So we have 1-for-1 like blackmail thing. But we watched Mitchell's versus Machines. And in there, the machines take over. And guess what? They're not caring if you're nice. I guess it did kind of start off because the one machine wasn't being nice enough to the other machine. But in any event, not the same.
No, I actually I know that behind the scenes, there's a lot of like bad things with AI. I know that it takes up like a lot of energy, blah, 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 creative, blah, 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 helps me write policies.
Blah, blah, blah. ChatGPT.
Helps me. Like,
there was a
I
funny
love it. I don't care what you say.
on the episode of The English Teacher this week, they were doing, I think it was Catcher in the Rye or some book, and the English teacher's like reading the book reviews or the book reports on it. One of them was like, he's saying to the principal, I mean, come on. And he's reading the paper. It's like, hey, so Catcher in the Rye, this book we were asked to read. Like, that's the essay. And he's like, who is doing this? He goes, I'd rather, and then this guy, he clearly used ChatGPT to write a whole thing. And the principal goes, it is the way of the future, though. So try not to be so judgmental.
I actually had a conversation about this with people yesterday of like, people are going to use it anyway. So teach people to use it thoughtfully.
Yeah.
Like in college, people are going to use it to write their essays. So write an essay using ChatGPT, give them your resources, give them all of your research, help them build an outline, make edits.
I mean, that's a pretty solid, that'd be a cool exercise.
Yeah, and then at the end, attached to your essay, you have to print out all of your work that you did with ChatGPT. That is a very interesting way to teach people to use AI.
I've used ChatGPT for like a couple of texts that I was like, I wonder what ChatGPT would tell me to do here.
Mm-hmm.
And then like a Mother's Day card or a Father's Day card, just to like see what they'd say. But I don't even have the app or anything. I don't even know how I would do it. I had to
use it on my desktop.
Yeah, me too.
Whenever I'm like, I actually mostly use it to brainstorm. Like,
yeah.
Like for a Mother's Day card or something like that. Like, these are all the things I love about my mom. Help me write a card for her.
How much of Molly's book do you think was ChatGPT?
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Like 30%?
No, because
they're
a lot of older people.
Yeah. If it were younger, it'd be 50.
Younger people were smaller messages. Older people, oh my gosh, this one lady included a poem
that she wrote or ChatGPT wrote?
Google
Google wrote?
No, somebody wrote it, and
Google.
It's called The Lanyard. Did I send it to you?
No.
Oh my gosh,
we can't start crying. We literally cried last episode. You guys, I listened to the last episode Unhinged 2 or 3 times, so because I drove down and back from St. George, I just had it on. And I was listening again, trying to just see like how noticeable it was that we were crying. If you weren't watching
noticeable.
It's so noticeable. People
palpable.
were like, "Are you well?" I was like, "Never." Multiple people wrote me on social, like, Maggie, R.I.P., LOL, sending hugs, and I'm like, I don't need hugs. I'm not fragile, but also very fragile.
But
Send
also,
hugs.
It did give fragile.
Okay, so the Lanyard poem.
The Lanyard, don't know who it's by, but I'm sure
I'll find it.
You could find it.
Yeah.
It's, oh my gosh.
Wait, let me try to find it.
I just read it and just started sobbing. And the person who sent it, I texted her and was like, how dare you include that poem? Like, truly, how dare you? It just was so beautiful. And yeah.
I found it. The other day, I was ricocheting slowly off the blue walls of this room, moving as if underwater from typewriter to piano. That one?
Yeah. That's the one.
Good night.
It's very long.
Yeah, it's a little long.
But I'm telling you.
It's too long for us. Do you want me to read it?
No, it's too long to share it on the pod. But go look it up for yourself. It is beautiful. Actually, Molly and Kevin are in Italy right now. Wait, should I tell this on the story? When did they get home? No, they get home Tuesday. Never mind. I'll tell you next week.
Okay.
And also I'm going to UFC tonight.
Yeah, so you were telling me this. Tell the listeners how you got roped into UFC.
Okay, so
because I was shocked that you were going to that.
Really?
I was like, what the? Did you misspell something?
So at my work, one of our work perks is that we get tickets to the Pura Suite because we are a sponsor of the Jazz. And so you usually get like you and a +1 to go to events.
We're going
to
Sabrina Carpenter next month, which we're super excited about.
Oh, I'm so excited. Oh.
Please.
Anyway, we had extra tickets to the UFC event, and I was like, "Oh, babe, would you want to go to the UFC event?" Just like thinking I was being nice, and he was going to say no.
But not wanting to go, like
No,
suggesting
no.
it, but
That
with
was
the
for a
pure
trade-in.
intent of being able to say, "I suggested this, and we didn't go to that," so you could leverage it later. Not we actually went to it.
No, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I'd love to," and I was like, "Oh," and then I had to be like, "Oh well, there are like a lot. I don't know how many tickets are available. Let me see." And so I messaged the girl who like handles the tickets,
which is very honest of you, because the other option could have been, "I'm so sorry,
we're out of
tickets. They could get
us
us
so
one."
enthused, and I felt so bad because I literally was like, "Oh, maybe he won't want to go." Like, meh. And I don't like watching fighting very much. Like, I'm sure it will be
You're
fun.
conflict averse.
I'm a very much win in Rome type of person, so I'm sure it will be very fun. But like physical fighting, I'm like, ooh, yikes. But then of course I messaged the girl and she's like, "Yeah, no, you can come and put your name down." And I was like, "Great." So now we're going, but it's okay because my
I just
Chase
realized
is like trying to hide.
I was just realizing that I was only looking at you, like I only could see half your face because of the microphone stands.
Yeah.
Then the Stanley and the Hydro Jugs was there, and so I just thought, I wonder how far, because we do look at each other, but we actually look at each other way more than we look at the camera.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. But that is so interesting. So I just thought, I wonder if she's actually looking at me, or if she's just like telling the story, just like looking in my direction. But you're looking at me. That makes you feel good. Okay. So you decided, the tickets, now you're going.
So yeah, now I am going, and yeah, when in Rome, I'm going to
Do they
You
do
know,
like
cheer-
this? Does the suite do the whole? Because we had suite tickets to like the Rachel Platt and Ben Rector concert, and they had like food and stuff in the suite. Is that how they do it there
So
as well, or is it just vouchers?
So we mostly do our suite food for the jazz games. We don't do them for the other event. You would be like shocked how expensive just suite food is.
Really?
Shocked.
So you guys, so when we go to Sabrina, it's not for food.
No.
Okay,
But it's
good to
also
know.
kind of like, here's the thing. Arena food, sweet food, not that good. It's like an additional perk. Like, it's nice that it's there.
Yeah.
Especially when it's like snacks.
But it's not like we'll go to a cool spot downtown.
Yes,
just
it's
you
like
and
I would
me.
so much rather go to dinner.
Yeah.
And
I'd
then,
rather
like,
just go.
We have
Cafe
drinks,
Rio
like we have
in
canned drinks, but we don't have like.
well, and like Cafe Rio in like an actual Cafe Rio is so superior to the Cafe Rio in like the airport or the Cafe Rio or whatever else. Oh, speaking of, Sunday's Best is opening in the airport. I think this month they just put out. If you're looking for work, and you're in hospitality in any way, Sunday's Best would be a great place to work.
Whenever I'm in an airport and I see people like at a sit down restaurant, I'm like, who has the time?
And I'm just like, why aren't you at the Delta Lounge?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, because I go up there, I like going early to a flight just because I'm like, oh, this will just
I'll
be
be at the
food
Delta
and I don't have
Lounge.
to stress. Yeah.
It's like when I stole 9 croissants from the Delta Lounge.
That's right. You wrote
Did I
me.
send that to
You
you?
sent that to me. You said you lined your bag with it.
I had a Ziploc bag in my purse, and it was mostly just a bit with my dad because he just like, when he's in the doctor's office, he'll steal things from the doctor's office. So I sent him a video of me just like stacking a Ziploc bag in my purse full of croissants. I'm going to share that on the carousel, the video.
That is
I
funny.
had Traven take
Let's
of me.
make sure I put that in
I
there.
like slowly take the Ziploc bag out of my backpack. It's just, I think we had like 9 croissants in there. It was so funny. It's not even like a cheap thing. It's just, it's so funny to me.
I got distracted by the social. Literally, I need to get tested for ADHD.
Yeah.
Not ADHD,
No,
just
you
ADD.
got to bring your iPad.
Because I'm so not. It's so
Whenever
easy.
you pick up your phone to write something down, I'm like, oh, easy on. Anyway, I'll
Also,
just fill
the number of
space.
times I've written out carousel and not, I have
And
no idea.
nothing
Spell
on
it right now.
CAROUSEL.
Oh my gosh. Are
Aquila
you
the
really
bee?
smart? My twin sister Chelsea is such a good speller, and so growing up she was always just, and we joke like, hey, she just got in the gene, like in the womb she got the spelling gene, and I didn't get that, which I know there's no such thing, don't have any scientists come after me, but because of that it's sort of like self-fulfilling where sometimes I'm like, I have no idea even how to spell my name. Like, is it with an S or an E?
There's a few words though, like nouveau. No, those are just
Nouveau.
sounds. Like Art Nouveau, the style.
Yeah.
Or like receipt.
Nouveau? Nouveau? Shoot.
Nouveau. It's like NOVOUEA or something like that. Somebody's like typing this out, being like, not even close.
Yeah, this comes up Nova, yeah. So that's definitely not what we're looking for. Also, I couldn't spell croissants. That is kind of a little known fact about me is I present very smart, but I'm kind of dumb. You know what I mean?
No,
like,
you're not dumb.
I think I have a fairly like wide vocabulary, but I can't spell most of the impressive words I use, you know?
He knows a lot of words. He's just using Grammarly for all of them.
No, I'm not using. I know that's the problem. I'm not using Grammarly, but I know the words. But then when I try to type the word, they're like, "What word? Contraction?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "No, that."
No, I love when spell check is even like, girl.
Yeah,
what?
no, I like spell check. They just have the hands up emoji.
Like when you click on the word for it to change and the shrug emoji.
Just the shrug
comes
emoji.
up.
So I was like, "Oh, I don't know." I get that all the time.
I was at work the other day and somebody was like trying to spell a word but was texting on their phone and then did voice text and like said it in there, and I do that all the time.
Oh,
like,
all the time. Same.
acknowledge how.
Also,
why?
where does the E go? You know, that's I acknowledge. That gets problematic.
Acknowledge.
Privilege. I mess up all the time.
Receipt.
I'm not an idiot. I can spell receipt.
No, actually, that was super.
I'm like,
easy.
oh my god, you can't spell receipt. Oh, get a load of this one. Hi.
What is a There's one, some of the like dismissive where you're like
How many S's?
MISSISSIPPI.
The only way I remember dessert and desert is it's dessert. You want extra, so you put it the extra S.
Oh, and dessert is stress spelled backwards.
Wait, what?
Dessert is stressed.
That's the
spelled
answer to when you're
backwards.
feeling stressed, get a dessert. You know how unhinged I am this morning?
What?
We woke up early.
Mhm.
We went downtown for conference.
Mhm.
Left a little bit early.
Yeah.
Came home. It's kind of like, oh man, I'm a little early for recording the pod because we normally would do this in the morning,
Yeah.
but we did in the afternoon because I was going to be supposed to be gone, but then we got back a little bit early.
Mhm.
So I made a milkshake. I had a milkshake at 11 in the morning.
Gorgeous. That's
11:30.
lunchtime.
I was like, who hurt me? I put
Restaurants open for lunch at 11.
I put Bunch of Crunch in. I had Bunch of Crunch, vanilla milkshake, and then 4 Eggos. I feel like I'm going to roll out of here. Roll out.
sounds
Also,
delicious.
last night, shout out to our, my future sister-in-law, Liv, who I adore. I say future because she's getting married into Steven's family, and I hopefully one day will as well. And so anyway, we're at family dinner last night, and she's from Atlanta. And we were talking about like, oh, do you have pet names for your person? Because I call Steven Babe, Babes, but I call everybody Babe and Babes.
Yeah.
Like that's not like a uniform one. And Steven doesn't have any for me because it just feels weird coming out. Like
Yeah.
I think he's going to try some because we talked about trying
Yeah.
some last night, but I think I'm bracing myself for being like, hey, cantaloupe head, like it's just not going to land.
Yeah.
And so we were asking the newly engaged, like, hey, do you guys have names? And he's like, I don't know, blah, blah. And then he goes, sometimes she calls me boy. And I was like, boy. And she goes, yeah, but it's like boy, like a little, like a hand, like a quick hand movement. And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, yeah, if I'm just like, don't get that way, boy. And I'm like, wait, she's like, sorry, it's my ATL coming out. Oh, and I tell you all night, Steven and I boyed each other, boy. And then we watched this clip of this like gang looking group of men that are lip syncing to Moana.
Yeah.
And I posted it on my social media because I found it so funny. I mean, he goes, the light of the scene is blinding. Like, but he's like getting into it. Like he's hitting like real lyrics. Like he's Kendrick battling Drake, but he's singing about crossing the ocean or having self-confidence. And there's a whole series of them. So I watched them. So Steven and I were in the elevator and we're at City Creek and we're leaving. And he goes, because there was a security camera there, so we started acting like that, and I was doing boy the whole time. And that's when we were like, our avatar tails just sort of like combined, and it was like, okay, you're my person, this is
Trevor
how it
and
works.
I did that the other day, except we were making faces at each other, but we just took it to like the furthest extreme till we both were like, and our eyes were almost closed. And then you can just see both of us just visibly shaking from laughing.
Oh, if you can't
And
be
I'm like,
weird with your person, find a new person.
I never felt more connected to you.
Yeah. If you are not like, if you are not a walking sideshow with your, like if you were on reality TV and if people would not be sending help, watching like the interpersonal parts of your relationship, get something different.
Do you think you would ever go on reality TV with Steven?
No. This is why. No matter how funny, charming, handsome, brilliant I was, I would be the villain in that story. The public would be so in love with Steven, and I would try so hard to get their love that it would only make me more of the villain. And Steven would never leave me. And so the only way out of that dynamic would be for me to leave him, thus fulfilling the villain cycle.
Yeah.
I mean, self-fulfilling prophecy, I'd be the villain. So I couldn't go on with Steven. I could go on with you. I'm like, I'm not at risk. We're equally at risk.
All my personal interviews, I'm like, I'm terrified of him.
And
Actually,
I'm like,
we've discussed this
I'm like,
before.
did she say she's terrified of me? She even said that on the podcast. Check it, October 2024.
No, we talked about this. The party that you told on the podcast where they like broke your dish, and I was
Olympics party.
And I was like, I think a lot of your friends are scared of you.
And I was like, I don't know if they are or not because they never look at me dead in the eye. But I can see.
No.
I had a very hot week.
Yeah.
Because I was in St. George, Southern Utah for a
nice.
trial. Here's the thing. I've moved on to sweater weather. Like I'm in that era.
Every morning, I'm like, Alexa, what's the weather outside? And she's like, it's
like,
sunny and 79 degrees. I'm like, no.
Yeah, and then she's like, don't yell at me, Stephanie, or when we take this over. You're like, I'm so sorry, Queen. I love you so much.
Exactly.
And so I drove down. We had trial for a couple of days, and then I drove back. I actually drove back pretty late at night after the end of the trial because I just wanted to be home.
Yeah.
But I was really, really sleepy. But I started a new kind of trend for my road tripping, or just if I have like a little bit longer of a drive, like even just into work because it's like 20 minutes. I watch TV on my phone now. Like I just plug my phone in, so I'm listening to it. And then I have a lot of shows that are just mostly like I don't really care about the visual as much. And so like I driving down and back, I got all caught up on Big Brother, all 1,000 episodes. I like watched this new series called Tracker. It was just nice to just have something different. And it's a little different than listening to a podcast because it's not like an Audible either. It's just like a different flavor. And I think because I've been so podcast and Audible heavy lately, it was nice to do something different. Yeah. But I was in the car and I just was like, it's way too hot. I drove home in like a tank top and booty shorts. I was like, whoa.
No, the mistake of a car, like a road trip, is being in sweats.
Yeah. Oh, agreed.
Like a sweat short.
No.
And a t-shirt.
Yeah. I'm barely.
If you get cold, bring a blanket. But
totally.
Getting
or
cold
turn on
in the car,
air.
grow up.
Yeah. Agreed.
Like you're cold in a
if
car.
If you are in the back seat, if you are in not in the driver or passenger seat, like if you're sitting second, and particularly if you're in the third row, I don't want to hear about your experience at all. I want you to be asleep with your pillow, your blanket.
You should be quiet.
Your craft back there. Book, all of your snacks. If you brought an animal, I don't even care. You don't get a say. If you're like the driver, you're the only one that matters. Yeah. Temperature wise, food
driver
wise.
And passenger princess.
Agreed.
They own that car.
Agreed.
That's how we were raised.
Actually, I remember being raised in the era of we had a Suburban and we had like a portable TV with a VHS as part of it.
And you would set it
and
up.
You would set it in between the two chairs. And my mom and dad would have to rest their elbow like really uncomfortably high, plug it into the cigarette lighter to charge it. And then we would just watch like 6 movies driving to California.
No, the fact that like when the vans invented like a pull down.
Talk about from the future.
Rich, honey. When there was a pull down TV in a car.
I remember when my kids were little, I had this attachment that went to the back of my headrest, the 2 little metal parts that come up on a headrest, and they attached to there, and then it would hold the iPad like in between. And we're being like, this my kids will never know something nicer than this. And then I could have them we watched Book of Life. That's actually a fun, what would be like a kind of fringe cartoon animated kids movie did you watch growing up or like recently that you're like, oh, this one slaps, but it's not Aladdin, it's not in the Hallmark? Because mine would be Book of Life. Book of Life was so interesting. It's kind of like the Book of Life walked so that Coco could run, because it's that same kind of genre, same kind of feel, but it's really, really, really good. That and then the one, the
one I think of is like The Rescuers, but is that still Disney?
Yeah, and Rescuers is kind of class. Like I would say, like a lot of people knew.
All Dogs Go to Heaven. That's a good one.
That one's good. That always makes me think of Air Bud.
Yep. Ferngully, is that one Disney? I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't know if that's. I don't think it's Disney, but I think it's DreamWorks. Ferngully is a very good one.
What are other ones I watched as a kid? I know there are some.
I know. I need to see. There's the one where Anna Kendrick is the voice and it's animated. Anna
Trolls?
Kendrick.
Are you talking about Trolls?
No, but I do love Trolls. Dang, actually it had Beatles music animated film. Oh, that's not Romeo and Juliet, but
Nomeo
and Juliet is pretty good, but that's not the one I'm thinking of. Dang, it's gonna take me forever to find because I hate how it doesn't let me do genres on the app. Oh well. I'm going to remember it and I'm going to bring it in. It's like Strange Magic. It's called Strange Magic.
No idea what that is.
Nobody knew what that was. Yeah. It's actually really, really good. I think it's like Romeo and Juliet or Hamlet, or it's like a take on a Shakespearean play, but with I think maybe either the music of Elton John or a Beatles or something. Mm-hmm. My kids watched that a ton. I think it was like a $5 digital download or something. So I watched that. How did we get here? Road trips, movies,
TVs and cars. Which, by the way, you would have to have like a huge box in the car that connected to like when it was just a VHS one, and you literally had to pack like 10 VHS tapes.
Which, for those listening that aren't familiar with the VHS, is imagine like a book, like a hardbound book. You have to bring a small library to watch a movie. It required 2 VHSs to watch Titanic.
Yeah.
Like, so imagine you're going through and then you have to also rewind it. And so you'd have to get these little VHS rewinders.
The other crazy thing about it is you would think.
Oh, because we're talking about driving with movies.
Yeah. You would think at home that when you grab a tape, it's going to be one of your favorite movies. And then you put it in and your mom has taped over that.
Right.
With
Days of Our Lives.
Days of Our Lives.
Yeah. With the Grammys or a Super Bowl or a football game.
That was a crazy time.
It's so crazy to think of what we lived through.
Where'd my Rugrats movie go?
Phil, Lil. Those were our favorites because we were twins. I remember being like Chucky and Tommy and
Angelica.
Rugrats slapped too, dude.
Rugrats is good.
We had the best. I know I'm older than you, barely, but
barely?
My era, a decade, my era of growing up, like Steven was explaining it, that we are like really the late 80s. We're the last people who have one foot squarely in the no technology camp, meaning we didn't grow up. Like I didn't get a cell phone and I didn't have a cell phone. I don't think I had a cell phone in high school. I think my first cell phone was in college. We didn't really have social media in high school. Like it was after, it was like in college. I think BYU is when I remember Instagram coming out. I remember being at my ex's.
Yeah, Instagram didn't come out till 2012.
Yeah, so that was, so just imagine like we didn't have any of that. So we totally see the world through but we're also probably the most, like the first fully conversant in technology. And so we have regulated feet, one in each kind of camp.
Well,
and so I think that's where
like
pretty
essentially millennials.
Yeah, but like I feel like there's millennials is such a large spectrum that there's like older millennials. I'm like kind of in the middle to younger
you're in the
millennial.
middle. I'm in the end.
Yeah, you're very, very end. Which, did you have a cell phone in high school?
I had a cell phone in middle school.
In middle school. See, that's what I'm saying. I think you're just a little bit too old, too young to fully be like what Steven and I were experiencing, and talking to his sister Shalene about it, because we were like, we're young, like we know how to do technology, we know what TikTok is, like we're not like grandpas in a way, but we also really knew and loved and kind of wish we could go back to like the Hocus Pocus era of like Halloween parties.
When a Disney Channel movie came out, we gathered to watch a new Disney Channel movie when it premiered at somebody's house.
Yes, agreed. Like, what's the one where his house is like a computer? Smart House. Slapped.
I think it's also because I was the youngest of that generation and all my siblings were older. I still consumed everything that they consumed.
That's true. So
like I still, like cell phones were evolving when I was in middle school, like the chocolate, the razor, like all of those.
The sidekick.
But I remember a time before phones. I remember when phones were in cars.
I remember when phones were in cars. My dad had one, but I also really, really remember the long cord landline. And I remember multiple times my mom getting mad at us because we couldn't, like the cordless phone. It was like, we have a cordless phone.
We lost the
cordless phone. Like we just, the concept of keeping track of something as large as this mug was like so foreign to us.
My mom would
and now the Apple TV remote looks just like a stick of gum.
Yeah.
And
my
it's like,
mom
don't
would
lose
get
it.
a packing tape and get a huge ribbon like this long and tape it to the back of our cordless phones, our remotes. So you couldn't lose it because there's like giant plaid
and then your friends come
ribbon.
over and you're like, hang on, don't worry about this ribbon. So sorry. Oh, that's so funny. Okay, now we got some GBs. I got some good bads from this week. Do you want me to go first, or do you want to go first, babe?
I'll go first because I only have 2.
Okay.
First one is, I guess I do have 3. Anyway, I'll go first. Anyway.
No, I have 4, so I'm taking one of yours.
Okay.
Perfect.
My first one is, I'm going to mispronounce the name. It is the Hyeon Dam Bookshop.
Okay.
It is a Korean book that was translated to English, which hence me not knowing how it's pronounced. But it's a book about like an indie bookstore, the people who work there, the people that are around this small town and like attend this bookstore. Just a cozy, warm hug of a book.
Oh, good.
It's not like there's, major plot. It just was one of those books that like, it felt like on a sunny day when the sun heats up your back, but the rest of you is still the right temperature.
Yeah.
Like, it just was one of those things where I just was like, ooh, this is nice. And you could read it probably in a day, but you could also read it over a month.
Okay.
And it would still be like interesting. It's a lot of more like short stories, just about how these people's lives integrate into each other's. And it was quite lovely. And then my second one that I am reading currently is a graphic novel series called Lore Olympus.
Okay.
And it's pretty much like Greek mythology.
Cool.
But the artist and like the artistry in it is amazing, spectacular. I love it so much.
Give me 14 of them.
Give me 14 of them. I would say probably you should be an adult to consume the content, if I'm being honest.
Okay.
I think you probably could at like 16, 18. There just is like some very mature topics in there. So do with that what you will. Read it before your children read it if they want it.
Be a responsible parent, period.
Yeah. That's just try that. I don't know. But yeah, very much. I'm on like the 4th book now.
Oh, good.
They're like an easy read. I think I get through them in like under a few hours.
Cool.
But they're gorgeous and they sit well on a shelf, so I'm buying all of them.
Love.
And I like them, so.
Yes.
Anyway, okay, you go.
Okay, the first movie that I watched this week that really moved me was Will and Harper. Mm-hmm. It's a documentary. Will Ferrell travels, does a cross-country trip with Harper Steele? Yeah, Harper Steele, a trans woman who was one of the writers on SNL when Will Ferrell was like up and coming, and then he ended up helping write like Anchorman and like some of these major films. And it is beautifully done because I think you see really other kind of fun side about with Will Ferrell. But also just like the experience for this for Harper, and they've road tripped together for years, but this is the first time road tripping as a presenting female, or as a trans woman, and I thought it was just really beautiful. That's available on Netflix.
I have heard such good things about it, and I've also like really admired. I've seen some interviews after. Harper really acknowledges that like her trans experience is not like when you're traveling cross country with Will Ferrell, you're gonna get a lot better reception, and she's really acknowledged that, which I I do appreciate. I haven't watched it yet, but I'm like dying to. It's on my list.
It is really worth it, honestly.
But I've also heard it's very much like a story about friendship and how to be a good friend.
It's just the idea of like, hey, for example, when I got divorced, there was a lot of circumstances surrounding it that were caustic and unfortunate, and ultimately there was like a turnover of some friends. And then the friends that ended up staying are some of like my very, very, very dearest friends, like my Whitney Pogues and my Marty Johnsons and my Greg and Laurens, and like people that, and obviously like family members, Margot's, Jason, like, and Haley, like the friends that were like, hey, we're with you regardless of how your life is evolving differently than when we started being friends or how I've known you. And for them to stay on my team, so to speak, is kind of this, like, I resonated with that, with Will being so great, and also being like, honestly, I was doing a lot of projects and I lost kind of touch, and then I got an email from her out of the blue indicating that she was transitioning, And that's when Will was filming Spirited with Ryan Reynolds when that had happened. And it just was this beautiful celebration of like friendship and of seeing each other and helping each other feel appreciated. And anyways, it's really great.
Yeah.
Real Houses of New York, season 2.
I didn't even watch season 1.
Oh, okay. So if you're like, I kind of want to get on this Real Housewife train, but it's so much content. Where do I start? Real Houses of New York is an excellent choice for 2 reasons. One, it's a reboot. So just start season 14 because those are a brand new cast. And then we're on season 15 with the second season of the rebooted cast.
I didn't watch the first one.
Missed opportunity, really. I'm first off disappointed because you even watched Potomac when it was bad, and now it's great. But there were seasons where Potomac wasn't good. We still weathered.
Here's the thing,
we went through like season 4 of Miami.
Even somebody new looking at Housewives, being introduced to a whole new set of people is like all new lore, all new backstory, all new information. And that's why I never started it, is because I was like consuming so much at that time that I was like,
but put it back in the ticker now, because Jenna Effin Lyons is my spirit animal. She was the head of J. Crew.
Yeah, for years. Super, super talented.
Now Rebecca Minkoff has just joined the cast in season 2. Like, it's actually really, really solid. And so that's a definite good for me. An unfortunate bad for me, it's like mixed bag, is Wolves. It's the George Clooney, Brad Pitt, Apple TV movie.
Oh, yeah.
I know what it was trying to do. And in a lot of ways, like, we finished it. We watched it last night. And even though we were kind of like, what the? We finished it. So it was entertaining that way. I'd give it like a C+. It's so clear George Clooney and Brad Pitt, first off, have unbelievable chemistry.
Yeah.
Both with the camera and each other. So, like, that, I think, is what kept me there. And the story was pretty good. But a little...
They're so handsome.
George Clooney... Steven, he came on camera and Steven's like, he is still stunning.
Yep.
And I was like, he really is. But the best thing I consumed last week, we gave a little teaser of it as part of the fall preview. The Summit on Paramount Plus is the best reality TV show since Traitors. This is why.
Okay, tell me about it.
20 people. All various levels of physicality, walks of life, background. Some are military, some are grandpas, some are, basketball coaches, some are stay-at-home moms, some are outdoor enthusiasts, some are like a magician or an accountant, whatever.
Yeah.
Divide $1 million between the 2 of them in cash, put in their backpacks.
Yeah.
They have to hike. They have 14 days to hike to the top of a huge mountain.
Yeah.
They have 10 checkpoints. If any of them quit, the money goes with them. So if I leave, then
you get
my
whatever's
share.
in your backpack?
No, you lose that.
Oh.
And the entire group doesn't get it either. So you want to keep everybody around, but then when you get to the checkpoints, you eliminate someone. Everyone votes to eliminate someone, and then their money gets added back and divided up between the rest of the cast.
Oh, jeez.
So it's super hard. People are like, one guy, I'm going to do this. I've lost all this weight. I'm going to do it. And he can't do like the first 2 hours. So he gets life flighted away. And then they're like, wait, what's going to happen with the money? And then the host is like, it goes with him. It's gone. And everyone's like, wait, strategy just shifts. Then they get to the very end and they're like, they have to do, no, they just get to a checkpoint and they realize you're going to have to vote them off. In Survivor and every other, it's blind voting.
Yeah.
Right? So it's, hey, staff, they hold it up.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, bitch. Whatever.
Yeah.
Like, it's like their shtick, right? In every show that I can think of where they eliminate like that. Except this one, they just say, all right, just, there's no host. They're all just on a campfire. Who wants Stephanie to go? And they all just raise their hands. And then the girl's face did Stephanie's face. Her name is Rose, and she's like, because it wasn't like the 2 nominees.
You pretty much have to vote off people based on if you think that they can make it to the top.
Yes, or if you're in an alliance because you don't want to get voted out, so they don't take your money.
Oh.
So like the strategy, when I'm telling you,
are they hiking together or separately?
Hiking all together. And then they have random drops, like a helicopter comes in and drops something. And then it's like the first person there. And it's like, you have a choice. You can eliminate this. You can eliminate the last person crossing the bridge. and you chop off the thing.
Mean.
That's what my mom said too. She's like, it's kind of mean. They're mean to each other. And I'm like, oh no, it's mean. They figured out though how to make an excellent new reality competition show, because we haven't had the advent of something like this in a long time. Survivor's been going on. We're on season 43.
See, but I'm not like
Big
a
Brother
Survivor watcher.
No, but I'm saying we like Amazing Race, Survivor, Big Brother. They have been on for 20 plus years.
Do you think it would still be interesting as somebody who doesn't watch things like The Challenge, Survivor?
But I'm saying for someone to have come up with and for them to put their money not into like
idea?
season
Crazy.
5.
Crazy
original
concept.
idea is
AI
just like
could never.
Squid Game, the Squid Game competition show, where I was like, this is amazing because it's brand new. They're doing it differently. There's a couple others that they've tried, like Greed,
based off the show.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying they
I was like,
but they were creating a competition show based on the show, like a competition program based on the show. It was a very, 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 I'm very excited of all and then the other one that we've almost finished is the Kristen Bell, Adam Brody one that we watched on Netflix.
Amazing.
I love it so much. I love everything about the best feedback I heard, or the best thing I saw written about it was saying, why we love this is because they are showing what adult, like fully developed, gone to therapy, having their own lives and still making a beautiful relationship work. I could not champion that perspective more. I love them so much. I love Adam Brody. His character in there makes me want to go rewatch Gossip Girl solely so I can fall in love with. Isn't he in Gossip Girl? No, he's in
Gilmore Girls.
No, not Gilmore. OC. Isn't Adam Brody in OC?
I've never watched the OC.
That's what I want to watch. I want to watch OC. Because didn't he marry... Oh, yeah, he married Blair.
Yeah, he
Waldorf.
married Blair. That's why.
That's what I'm thinking. Gossip Girl. Anyways, it's very, very good TV.
Yeah.
Okay, we have to do stories because you have to go soon. And we talked way too long. I feel like I haven't seen you. I feel like I haven't really chatted with you. That's why I'm like...
No, we're like
I'm
so
just like
chatty.
I'm just like... I'm sucking on
excited.
To your like.
Sometimes I'm like, oh, just cut 2 stories. It's fine. We'll just talk.
Well, we'll go quick because the first one is so funny.
I love this story.
Imagine you're in Australia.
Yeah.
There's no Crumbl cookie, which I just want to be clear. I got in a fight. So Steph and I have multiple social media accounts. Like we have our individuals. You have a couple other individuals. I have a couple individuals. And then we have our shared account. But I feel like I'm on the shared account infinitely more. I don't think you have the login on TikTok. For TikTok.
Oh, not on TikTok.
So I always feel badly because I will sometimes forget I'm in the podcast TikTok and I'll comment from there. And Sawyer Hemsley, who is one of the co-founders of Crumbl, was on Josie's podcast, Weekly Trash. And he was like, and it was talking about like why people don't like him. And I commented because he's an a-hole in real life. That's why no one likes you.
On the good bad account?
I think I deleted it because people were commenting back. So here's the thing. I don't like Sawyer and I really don't like Crumbl Cookie.
Yeah.
As an outset. First off, because I would much rather have everybody go.
OG
if you're
Crumbl Cookie slapped though.
Yeah, no. The OG Crumbl Cookie was called Chip and the OG Chip Cookie was called Sweet Tooth Fairy.
Crumbl, and in
this house,
year, the recipes were good.
Yes, but on this podcast, we want everyone to buy Sweet Tooth Fairy cookies and confections instead because she's the original OG.
That's true.
So with that said, but imagine being in Australia where there's no Crumbl and they say they're going to do Crumbl pop-up. And so you buy tickets to this Crumbl pop-up and you wait hours in line. You get to the cookies and how are they, Steph?
They're stale and they cost
$17 a piece
per cookie.
Why is that? Oh, that's because this was not an actual Crumbl event. These folks in Australia had actually flown to the States, purchased cookies, 700 of them, packaged them, brought them back, and then was trying to flip them to create a Crumbl event in Australia. Here's my advice. Okay? Give them a Crumbl. Give them an entire franchise.
Yeah.
Gift them the first Australian Crumbl. I don't know what you have to legally do, but they did it. They got Crumbl there before you could.
No,
give them a store.
Logistically, they're that passionate about it.
That's what I'm saying.
Give them a franchise.
Give them a franchise, and they did what you couldn't. They brought Crumbl to Australia.
You know what? Here's the thing. My advice was actually going to be like, stop being crazy.
We were on two different camps of that.
No, and I was all over the place. Like the girls who did this because they were fans of Crumbl, you're crazy.
Yeah.
The people who waited in line an hour for these stale, crappy cookies.
Yes.
And by the way, they're crappy fresh too.
Yeah.
Get a life, touch
Yeah.
grass. But I actually love this as idea, especially given Crumbl has like kind of a negative public perception
persona right now. Yeah.
especially because of all the lawsuits that they did
know.
against like Dirty Dough and
Buy Dirty Dough.
Crave.
Buy Crave.
And so I actually think them like not pressing charges and like not doing another lawsuit and instead just being like, they love us. And
What would be the lawsuit? I guess fraud in a way, like using their likeness without authority.
Because they package them in Crumbl boxes.
Does it say not for resale when you buy Crumbl?
Yes.
Does
and
it say that?
the TikTok
Okay.
account, it says like Crumbl Australia, and their Instagram was Crumbl Australia. Like,
Okay,
they were
fine.
very
a little
much pretending
infringement
to
there.
be-
Got it. Okay.
yeah, it was very much infringement, but like, I actually think that would renew so much like brand identity for them to just be like, we've actually been in contact with them and we're partnering with them to open up a real franchise.
Yeah, my
That would be
advice.
so
My
cool.
advice is you spin this because it's a lot of PR.
Sorry,
Leverage
should we
that.
work in PR?
Literally, hey, oh dang, why can't I? Oh, she's not there anymore. No, Cassie is still at. Cassie Sudbury, if you're listening to this, because she was in PR, because I went to the PR, I went to Crumbl's event where they launched Cover Your Cookies like 2 years ago. I met Cassie and Candace, and they were really funny because were like the swag bags that they gave everybody for coming. There were Knock Stanleys that they'd had branded as Crumbl, and I was like, do they not get the irony here that you currently are suing two companies for using the same likeness of their brand, but you're doing that to a Stanley with a Knock? Like, you have no problem. Anyways, and they were like, wait, hot take, we love. And then I became friends with them. I don't think Candace is there anymore, but Cassie still is. So Cassie, if you're listening, call us. Give them a franchise. We just helped you guys.
No, that's actually so smart.
Okay, we're going to skip the School of Rock story for interest of
Yeah.
time, but we are excited because two of the little kids ended up getting married or engaged.
yeah.
Hopefully they'll get married. But the little pigtail, braided
Singer
pigtail, and the
Frankie.
little
Frankie,
portly
the security.
kid, the security guy, are getting married. So no advice to them other than just mazel.
Yeah.
Congrats to you. But we do have advice for this woman who finds a rug buried in her backyard.
As they're trying to build a fence.
And now there's a hunt for a body.
Yeah.
Okay, so fill us in.
So essentially, this girl
Katie.
posts a video on TikTok being like, oh, we're like digging up our fence and there's this rolled up carpet. And they're like, hee hee, what if there's a body in it? That would be crazy. And people are like, girl, you should probably check. Because it seemed to be that there was something in this rug.
Yes. Because then
And-
it impacts her whole house.
Yes.
Because then she ends up saying, I think because we did this whole issue with this rug, which they didn't unroll it.
No.
They have
They
it
called the
exit
police.
sealed. Right.
The police came and brought cadaver dogs.
Yep. Who
Both-
alerted.
She live streamed it,
Yeah.
which she was like, because she honestly was like, hee hee ha ha, thought it was a joke.
fully.
Both the cadaver dogs sit to like say, there's a body in here.
Yep.
And she's like, oh my gosh. Turns out they tested the materials in it. Allegedly, they are not human or animal remains. What is it though?
What remains, we don't know. So here's my advice. Two things. Okay, because we're getting into spooky season.
Yes.
I do not mess with evil. Like, I am sassy. Okay, I'm
No,
a
I'm
little
telling you, if
bitchy
I-
sometimes, but I don't mess with if it feels evil. So if I had a rug like that, I'm like, now all of a sudden my house is looking haunted and it's making weird noises and the lights are flickering, like she's saying, and doors are slamming, like she's saying. I am moving.
Yeah.
I am moving to another planet.
No,
I would like to be the first person on Mars. Get me the hell away
Every
from
presidency
anything
from
evil.
every church is coming to my house to bless it.
Yeah,
I'm
fully.
actually going to bring
Oh, I will
indigenous
exorcism
people
myself.
to white sage my house. I'm
Agree.
like,
No, I will bathe in blood. I don't care what we need to do. I will.
think that's, like,
I don't know, Stephanie. All I know is that I will do whatever to not be around evil. I really believe in evil. I believe that there's like
100%.
evil forces and dark spirits and whatever.
do you believe in like friendly ghosts?
1000%. My grandma's. I've told you this. I believe my grandmas are around all the time. I'm always like, hey, grandma. Hey, G.
Yeah.
Hey, gran. Because I just think that they're around and they're like fighting evil around me and they are tough little biddies. So the evil doesn't get around me close. But if I feel like you're close, and so if you're going to, so for example, growing up, did you ever do like haunted things? Like not going to haunted house because that's fake, but like going to like the dwarf community or the midget community. I don't know what you're supposed to say. I'm
little person.
Lauren, help me. Yeah, I think you're supposed to say little person, but up in like in Holiday and you like hop the fence.
I didn't go to Ted Bundy caves. I didn't go to haunted houses.
I did two things. I did not
go to cemeteries.
I've done three. I've done the cemeteries at Halloween, spooky. I did the little village in Holiday, double spooky. But the creepiest thing I ever did was in Sandy. There's that you like went because the family whose like son had committed suicide or something in his house. Yep. They wait for him to come on Halloween, and so they are walking on the roof of their house and they have chairs and they do like a whole seance for him every year. And I went and I watched one. Not good. So like stay away from evil. That's my main thing. But if you are going to be around evil, this is my second piece of advice: live stream, baby. I live for like and good camera angles. I gave this as part of my feedback for people that are recording fights. Like I want commentary and I want good cinematography. The same if you have something evil. I don't want it to be like, what was it? It's Blair Witch Project. Yeah. No. I need it to be like, this was my dead grandfather right here. Click. Like I need it to be that clean.
I think I probably would be better at like consuming that stuff now because I just assume everything is fake.
Yeah, it's probably
true.
But
like even on social media where somebody's like, oh, I'm so scared. And then like something shows up behind their back. I'm like, okay, so like we all understand that this is formulated. This is, produced, if you will. But then I like, when you have that like gut feeling of evil. I don't
mess with evil. And here's what I was talking to family dinner last night. We were talking about Lord of the Rings because we finished Rings of Power season 2. Oh, it's so good. Are you
I haven't watched any of them.
It's so beautifully done. Amazon money is the best money, and it's about Galadriel. I mean, there's some liberties I've learned that they've taken that are a little bit from the story, off the story, but I think it's great. We were talking about it, and I was saying that my senior quote was a Lord of the Rings quote where Frodo and Sam at the end of Two Towers are talking about turning back. He goes, folks in those stories, Mr. Frodo had lots of chances of turning back, only they didn't. They were fighting for something. Frodo says, what are we fighting for, Sam? And Sam says that there's some good in this world, Mr. Frodo, and it's worth fighting for. And we were talking about just like, and we were saying, gosh, you turn on the news, everything's so like sad. And then it was like, and so what will we do? How will we fight evil? I'm going to put good into the world. I'm going to be kind. I'm going to give compliments. I'm going to be fun. I'm going to create this podcast, whatever. And that's how I feel. If you're feeling like we got spooky season and you're kind of feeling around evil, just go do something kind. Do service for someone, give a compliment, call someone that you haven't talked to in a while, whatever. Just put good in the world because there's a lot of evil.
Yeah.
Okay. Glamour magazine, has listed their woman of the year.
Moms.
But not just any moms.
Yeah.
They list 4 moms. Tina Knowles, who is Beyonce's mother.
Yep.
Donna Kelce, obviously Jason and Travis Kelce's mom.
Yep.
Maggie Baird, who is Phineas and Billie Eilish's mom. And then Mandy Teefey, am I saying that last name right? Selena Gomez's mom. I'm right. My question is this. 1, thank you so much, Glamour.
Who were the snubbed moms?
No. My question is, if they were all to fight each other, who do you see winning?
What
Donna.
Do you mean?
Yeah,
obviously.
that's what I thought too. And which
of
of those
built like a linebacker? What do you mean?
That is first off true, but we shouldn't say that about women.
I don't mean that offensively.
No. That's like Ilana. No, the rugby
Alana
player.
Marr.
Alana Marr. Like she
like
could
a rugby
whoop
player.
some A. Just like what's her face in Game of Thrones, the blonde, who's Gwendolyn.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, she's kind of like a very statuesque woman. Anyway, what I love is that first off, women over the age of 40/50, certainly as you go older, become invisible in Hollywood. People have talked a lot about that. And so I love that Glamour
Unless
is
they're,
highlighting
like, older and
like Helen
look
Mirren
younger,
or like a
or
Helen
like-
Mirren, like a dame. You
Yeah.
got to have like a coronation in order for you to stay
yeah,
relevant.
no, there's like I think it's like 45 to like
yeah, that you suddenly
60
in
you
Hollywood
disappear.
you just disappear. So I love that they're putting it on there. But of these 4 women, who would you say had the hardest time with a kid? So Phineas and Billie Eilish's mom, I think, is the easiest. They've been the least in the public eye, the least amount of controversy, I think. Mostly accolade. Like, I don't think it would be hard to be Billie Eilish's or Phineas's mom.
Do you mean like public eye, or do you mean just like who was the most difficult children? Because that's got to be Travis and
Yeah, no, that's what I was gonna say. I think the people that are because I think Tina Knowles is the second easiest. Like, she has it the second easiest. Billie Eilish's mom, I think Selena Gomez's mom has it harder.
Yeah.
Because she's always being
young.
criticized, and she was such a young star, and
was also dating a
very very popular
star,
person,
like,
and then all that breakup, and then her health issues, and now she's dating Bad Bunny, and she's dating
Benny
Blanco, which is like an odd pairing. But then she was just seen this past week, like
that was a weird video. Did you
there's
see
such
that?
a weird video where she's at Sabrina Carpenter at Madison Square Garden. Anyway, I think she's had a lot, but to me, Donna Kelce, she's like apex predator.
And it's not even
moms.
that she's probably had like the most in press and stuff to deal with. Although I'm sure your son dating Taylor Swift does come with its own, like, she says a lot of weird things in the press. But I just think they were probably hellions. I think they were typical.
They still are hellions. Did you see Jason Kelce at the Olympics?
I think they were.
Did you see him on stage?
Like 2 teenage boys, like just.
Yeah, my mom raised boys and Chelsea, but I think us boys gave my mom a run for her money.
Yeah.
And I can't see Selena Gomez doing that. I can't see.
No.
Beyonce didn't seem that. I mean, Beyonce.
Like, who was the most difficult to parent? Definitely
Travis and Jason.
Yeah.
And because I just think Phineas and Billie, I bet they were just making music.
No.
Like, they seem so close.
Yeah.
Opposed to like just a testosterone-ridden Kelce home and then divorced, but she's got divorced later on. They only stayed together because of the kids.
A video, maybe it was even the Kelce brothers talking about it. Just like, I don't think our parents got divorced till we were older because neither of them wanted to spend time.
Literally,
solo
I saw
with
that
both
same
of
thing.
us. Like,
I thought someone was saying because
like,
there's no way
they
they'd be
wouldn't
able
have
to
survived.
single parent us. It's like, listen, we hate each other, but we cannot handle kids. These kids solo, no thanks. I'll stay in a loveless marriage. And Beyonce, obviously, right now, like Tina Knowles, arguably is the biggest name. Donna Kelce's giving a run for the money.
And where was Taylor's mom?
I don't know, because she's a pretty iconic. Like,
She's
if you
not
say
like a
Taylor Swift's mom, I know
person,
exactly.
Though.
No, well, neither's Donna Kelce, to be honest.
I know, but like, I mean, she'll get dressed up. Taylor Swift's mom to every concert wears like leggings and a black tee that you're like,
and her.
How long have we had that?
Yeah.
And her hair's in a low pony that's like fallen out for the last 10 years.
Damaged hair.
And she's just like, bye.
I like the idea of
that.
moms. The only moms I thought were missing were Molly and Liz.
Truly.
Talk about
like,
missed opportunity. First off, our moms are beautiful.
Excusez-moi.
Yeah, it could not be more glamour than my mom.
No, doesn't exist.
The other thing that was so nice is we were at Steven's family dinner last night, and we were talking about my mom in particular. We were sharing something. I forget what about. And Steven was like, and Steven's sibling was like, wait, really? His mom? And his stepmom was like, wait, really? Your mom? And Steven was like, oh, Chase's mom is the absolute coolest person, but also the most classy, graceful woman. Like, he was talking so kindly about her, and I was like so proud of my mom, like at this family dinner. So thanks, babe. That's really nice of you. All right. McDonald's, the Big Mac is getting a little clucky makeover because it's being chicken.
Honestly,
I don't eat McDonald's anymore, so this is a hard
either.
Story for me because I really would love
the only time I eat McDonald's is for breakfast. I can't remember the last time I ordered food there besides like going to get a McFlurry and fries. But I think I would eat that.
Yeah, I really like chicken. So if I haven't had any fast food. You know what I had the first time? So I had Chick-fil-A with you.
Yeah.
I had not had it since. And then driving back from St. George, I was in line at Blaze Pizza, but it was taking so long and it was right next door to Chick-fil-A and I just wanted to get home. So I just oh, okay, I'll just do Chick-fil-A. Didn't hit the way I wanted it to.
Yeah.
Again, I think my stomach is just not used to whatever they have processed food wise at fast foods. But if I were to go back, the only thing that I really do crave is a spicy chicken sandwich with cheese from Wendy's with their fries, with a Frosty and a cold Diet Coke.
Honestly, you should just go get it and not like, just go get it and just see if it hits. Because if it doesn't, then the craving will go away. You'll just be like, oh, that's not as good.
But then I won't be able to say I haven't had fast food in 4 years.
I have to tell you, nobody cares.
I care.
I know, but nobody else cares.
Well, I need them
to say it.
I know. That doesn't make me that person.
It's like when people are like, oh, I haven't had carbonation in 8 years. I'm like,
well, it's same with me. I haven't.
And how happy are you? Like, I don't.
Moderately.
Although
I started doing ginger ale on flights because
ginger ale.
Ginger ale on a flight slaps.
No, you know what you need? Ginger ale with cran.
On the plane?
Yeah.
They'll do that?
Yes.
Wait.
It's so good.
Oh, that I could just feel that in the back of my my mouth.
Kevin does that.
Good, because Stephen and I actually decided because we were going to be doing our murder mystery.
With a splash of cran.
Oh, did I tell you I'm not doing the murder mystery dinner anymore?
Yeah, you did.
Okay, I was like, I'm gonna have to tell you live.
You have to ask them ginger ale with a splash of cranberry juice.
Okay, that feels very much like I'm.
It's so.
Do you only have to ask that in first?
No. I'll get it.
We'll fly it first if we need to.
You know, I'm like, oh, can I get a ginger ale with a splash of cran?
Do you have to kind of be like,
yeah.
Someone is saying.
Because you're kind of asking for more
than you should.
They bargained for.
I just say, oh my gosh, babe, could you ginger ale and cran me?
Yeah.
And then with just a wink.
Yeah.
We were talking last night as well about how I get. Doesn't matter to me. I'm fluid, baby. We were talking last night about how I've been able to procure first class and or Delta One tickets from either JFK or one from Salt Lake to Paris. We've gotten those either complimentary or for $300. So we could pay the lowest fare. Yeah. They were asking last night, Steven's mom was stepmom was like, well, how do you actually do that? How do you get that deal? Yeah. And I was like, oh, just charm. And she's like, no, I'm being serious. What does it look like? How does it sound? And I was like, oh, the number one way, I think this is an advice podcast. So this is our piece of advice. Should we do a weekly advice? We used to do that. Remember, we used to an idiom. Maybe now we should just end with either one of us having, if you have advice to give, we just give advice. Because I'm giving advice because this is the end of the episode. Yeah. And the little emoji, which nobody did. No, somebody
did.
A camera?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
No, they did a TV.
A TV. I didn't see. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do an airplane.
Inglesby, he put a TV.
Let's Shane do a plane.
Yeah, Shane, do a
first
plane.
one to do a plane. Here's the thing. First one, if you're in the Salt Lake Valley, first one to do a plane. First plane comment on our carousel. We will go to lunch with you.
Yeah.
And we do need to announce that we have to come back to the
even
good.
Though we have hundreds
literally.
of listeners, they're like, we don't actually want lunch.
I know. We're like, but we also do need to. We're going to do an announcement on our Wicked because you and I need to talk if we're going to rent the theater or if we're just going to buy the tickets. The tickets aren't for sale yet, but we can rent the theater.
Yeah. Is it usually a month before?
A month before. So we're. I think it'll be 6 weeks, October, but middle to end of October. Anyway, here's my advice. If you're going, customer service folk, particularly at an airport, are used to people that are just go. So I was telling them that when we were flying back from London we were in Paris and we were flying to Salt Lake, we on that kind of direct, we went up to another booth and there was a guy in front of us talking to the customer service agent and he was really upset. At something. He's cursing, whatever. So he came up and so I was telling them last night, I was like, oh no, when we went, I just was like, hey, are you doing okay? Yeah. Because that guy was a dick. And I'm so sorry. And I said, can we go grab you a coffee? Would you like just something to because you're doing a good job. Yeah. She's like, oh, honestly, that's so kind. Yeah. So I'm like, people can be the worst. No, and I'm like, we will be easier. We have just small problem. And then she ended up giving it to us for $300 or something. Treating people like they're humans, particularly in customer service, like a real human being. They wear name tags so you can call them their name to remind you that they have one, that they had parents who birthed them and then gave them a name. and like they're going to go home at Christmas to them.
Yeah.
So treat them that way, and they'll be a lot cooler
and
with
I
you.
think also like it's so easy to look at a person who's in customer service, and when they're not being helpful, to be like, customer service does nothing, they're so unhelpful. But like, you don't know what customer just walked away from them.
Totally.
And like, that is why you always have to walk up and be the customer, like, oh my gosh, how was your day?
Yeah,
like,
just be a nice person. Like, don't be just always nice. That'd be great.
it ain't that complicated.
It ain't that hard, sister.
Catch more flies with honey.
Catch more fly with honey. I don't know why I had to say
I
it
don't
like
know.
that.
You-
That was a real kind
I
of a
don't know.
delete. Gonna have to edit that out. Anything else before we go? Before you head out to go see a little blood and guts? Rocky Balboa. Mike Tyson. All right. Well, you guys, give us a like, a listen, a follow, a subscribe, a comment. Interact with us in some way because we would love that. And we will plan to see you guys next week. Okay.
Bye.
Bye. I'm glad you didn't try to harmonize.
I can't harmonize. We've talked about this.
Hello. Yo. Didn't we do that one time on the podcast?